Okay, so the government actually assured us of a 120-day promise. In the 120-day contract, we had 26 items that the government intended
it's 25. There was a numbering error. So it's 25.
So there's 25, 26,
yes.
26.
If you look through it, there was
25.
one number. Yes,
there was one number of error. I think I've seen it.
It's sort of 23, 22, so it's actually 25. It doesn't really matter.
Okay, so there's no 22. That's it. It's from 22 and it jumps to 24. Okay, so it's 25.
Yes, please.
So let's go through the 25. And the 120 days is actually falling on Wednesday. And because Shamima is here coming from the presidency, I think that it will be better, it will be appropriate to place it and judge them accordingly. So the first one is nominate within the first 14 days the complete list of cabinet ministers for parliamentary approval. Done. We have constitute the leanest and most efficient government under the Fourth Republic in my first 90 days in office. Done.
I don't agree with that.
You don't agree?
Continue, yes.
Establish a robust code of conduct and standard for all government officials. That's going to be done today.
It's being launched today. We've already even been, there was an executive leadership program for all ministers' appointees.
Yes.
I think last 2 weeks it was. We're taking through the highlights. So today the president is going to launch it formally.
Okay. Hold a national economic dialogue to discuss the true state of the economy and prepare a home-ground fiscal consolidation program to guide the budget.
Done.
That's also done. Within my first 90 days in office, scrap the following draconian taxes to alleviate hardship and ease the high cost of doing business. E-levy, COVID-19, 10% levy on bet winnings and emissions levy. Shamima, this one, will you say done or have baked or what will you say?
It's only the COVID-19 levy of the draconian levies.
So we have a percentage that's still hanging.
So it is only the COVID-19, so that's like 1%. And that is also because it has implications for our IMF program as well as the entire VAT. And so we've given ourselves towards the end of this year to regularize, because there's an entire rationalization of our VAT system that is currently ongoing, so that we would strengthen it and make it more efficient. And the COVID-19 levy would be reviewed by the end of this year.
Okay, then I think we shouldn't have put it in the 120 days, knowing how the law had locked it down. We shouldn't have put it in the 120 days.
But why not?
Because
it's 25%.
There's a way you must understand what the 120-day social contract is.
How?
This is a contract of actions that are going to be taken that would have repercussions for our transformation.
Yes, but
those actions are not expected to yield immediate results.
Within my first 90 days in office. You made it specific, Shamima. And at that time,
Shamima, there's no explanation to this.
You knew everything.
You are at liberty. Well, do you want us to go into it, or as you raise it, I should respond to it?
I don't want us to go into it. I'm just telling you that 120 days, 120 days. I'm expecting that at the end of the 120 days, this is complete.
What is complete?
Whatever is captured in the 120 days is complete.
Well, then that is a huge misunderstanding of what the 120-day program stands for.
Okay.
No, because you are reading the things that we have set.
Yes.
So we have set up a team. Have the team completed its work? No. So the president says he's setting up the leanest and efficient government. We have the leanest in terms of the numbers.
Yes. But
they're not starting their work. They're doing their work.
No,
so you measure impact.
No, in this
we don't measure impact.
So what have we done?
No, in this contract, the measurements of their impact or their effectiveness is not what we're expecting here. What we're expecting here is that you say you will appoint the leanest government. You've done that.
Yes.
That's what we're expecting.
But what do you mean by lean? What do you mean by lean, Annie? Lean means it will have a very reduced cost on the national exchequer. So you cannot say you have a lean government just by the number of ministers you've appointed when the whole government is running on more money.
How is the whole government running?
The entire budget is bigger than it was last year. The budget of the office of the president is about 3 times what it was last year. So by what measure are you going to say that it is lean? Let's Google the meaning of the word lean. So, but the fact that you've appointed a smaller number of ministers, it does not constitute leanness.
Okay,
we are talking about the effect on the national exchequer, the effect on our pockets, not the number of people. So you've appointed a smaller number of people, but they are working with more money.
But you think the budget is bigger than what we
I said
put
the budget is bigger.
last year.
The money at the office of the president is bigger. So by what measure are you saying lean?
Okay. Let's go to the next one. My first 90 days in office, review the taxes and levies on vehicle and equipment imported into the country for the industrial and agricultural purposes. This is not done, right? I mean, but this one...
Not even mentioned in the budget.
We're not done. Commence drafting needed legal amendments and prepare for implementing the 24-hour economy policy under the office of the president. This is actually being done.
Debatable.
No, it's been done.
Right now, I don't know how
they campaigned
hold on.
the most.
Listen to the
24-hour economy.
No,
there was nothing in the budget on 24-hour economy.
Listen to the 24-hour economy.
Commence drafting.
No, listen. Commence drafting. It means that what you should be expecting is that at the end of the 120 days, the drafting of the 24-hour economy policy must have commenced. And it has. Because even if you go to Parliament, they have actually given Parliament, you can go into the Hansard, they're giving them an assurance that they are drafting it because they will have to, some of the institutions and agencies, they have to use law to be able to implement it. Even some agencies have already started doing the 24-hour
the agency already has a shift system.
I don't know how you want to moderate this session.
The shift system, how is it running a 24-hour?
Because it's either you're going through and then you're raising your questions.
Yeah.
And she's raising her issues and I'm responding because this one, I don't think that we are being coherent because as you get to some point, she's making a point. I don't know whether you
have a point you can make.
No, but
because she said something which I just had to come in. That's all. So if you have a point, you can make, Shamima.
Anyway, so going back to the issue about the taxes, I'm just going to commence investigation to processes to Horace, sorry.
That one is, okay, I think you're looking for the e-levy.
I'm coming. So I explained that the COVID levy matter. Sorry, please go on. Let me just open.
Okay. That's 0.5. That's it.
So there are two ways to look at our report as we would be presenting it. There are the ones we have done and the ones that are in progress. What I can assure you this morning is that everything that is in the 120-day promise has either been done or in progress. Progress means that it is not only within the purview of His Excellency to just by a stroke of pen get it done. It has to follow the processes, especially with the law. If you look at Parliament, this first, sitting of this new 9th Parliament, they have done record number of bills, which were all assented to by His Excellency before they went. You covered it.
Yes.
Over 17 pieces of legislation were completed, discussed, including the budget, and laid. Those other draconian taxes that we promised were also removed per law. Again, we explained to you that the COVID levy, which we intend to definitely take out from our tax regime, could not be completed within the 120-day because it is in the it is in progress of being completed because of these other bottlenecks that we needed to do first. We were very much aware of that. And because of the commitment to it, we needed to let the Ghana people know that as soon as possible, because it's also an IMF program, we made this promise during a campaign period. We needed to communicate to our development partners what our mindset was with regards to the COVID levy. And the fact that His Excellency is not going to allow COVID levy to remain on our books long after there is no COVID. Long after Ghanaian taxpayers, including travelers who came into this country, paid colossal sums of money to individuals and not to the Ghana Health Service. Long after Ghana Health Service could have benefited from this COVID, programs that were initiated at the airport and all of these things. So it is unconscionable that we as a country continue to tax Ghanaians on COVID levy. So we communicated that clearly, and IMF knew it, that we're not going to allow the COVID levy. But that process of removing it from our VAT system requires a longer process of tax rationalization. So that process has been activated. We will describe it as in progress. You have the liberty to decide that we have not done it. But we, knowing the actions we've put in place to remove COVID levy, would describe the COVID levy in particular. But if we say we will remove 4 or 5 taxes and levies, and we have done so, those that were unencumbered to remove, we have done so, with the remaining of 1 that we are encumbered by previous, programs and agreements with development partners. I think that it's your choice to decide that there is commitment or no commitment. But obviously, I think every fair-minded Ghanaian will know that there is real commitment to removing this levy. So and it's not out of malice and out of a need to disappoint or out of an intention to not meet this particular promise, so I'm not which sure, is why we have.
So I'm not sure the communication is that we think the government is not committed. That's not what we think we're saying. I am saying.
You are saying. Don't say for dog.
I am saying. I am saying that it's not been done because of all the processes the government must go through to remove it.
It's in progress.
It's in progress.
Isn't that debatable?
So if
my point with all of this is the wedding.
If we're even using,
let me just. The wedding is very specific, Annie. Within my first 90 days in office, scrap the following draconian taxes to alleviate hardship and ease the high cost of doing business. And this is not something I even want to spend too much time on it.
Okay.
You wrote this English. Nobody held a gun to your head.
It's fine.
And so this is not the first time that this thing has happened. When we came, we scrapped 17 taxes.
Okay, so point 8, establish an accelerated exports development council to promote exports as part of a broader strategy.
Review taxes.
Okay, I'm on the floor. A broader strategy to economic transformation.
That's in progress, Ikea.
But you haven't done it.
It is in progress.
9. Convene a national consultative conference on education to build consensus on needed improvements to the sector. That's done. Implement the no academic fee policy for all first-year students in the public tertiary institution, universities, colleges of education, nursing training institutions, etc. That's done, right?
Yes.
This was last week.
It's done completely.
Okay. Introduce the following social interventions: free tertiary education for persons with disability, the Ghana Medicare Trust, that's Mahama Cares Fund. Yeah, that's also.
No, but the first one, has that been done? We have 2 in 1.
It has been.
Introduce the following social interventions.
No.
Free tertiary education.
There's allocations, and we have already.
Is it as simple as allocation?
My sister, let me see. Let me educate.
I'm saying, has anybody benefited from that? That's
my question.
Yes,
no.
feel free to educate
institutions have admission periods. As we speak, all MOUs with all tertiary institutions, there's been meetings with all of them to ensure that the implementation of this policy are there.
Yeah. So for this policy, all the processes have been done.
Period.
So it's
done, and there's allocation to it. So immediately,
no. The responsibility is not on government.
And then another one that I would want some clarification. Yes, within my first 90 days in office, review taxes and levies on vehicles and equipment imported into the country for industrial and agricultural purposes. First, what does review taxes and levies mean?
Which one are you talking about?
You look at it. The one that I was drawing your attention to that you skipped.
Number what?
Here is not.
She's talking about number 6.
Yeah, I haven't seen that.
Noted down.
Let's continue.
It is in progress.
Okay,
so you should have done the wedding well. When you were writing these things, nobody held a gun to your head.
Okay.
So we are reporting what we have done. So at the end of the day, when you write an exam, you'll be marked by your examiner.
Yeah.
And the people of Ghana have the right to mark us based on what we said we have done and what is in progress. So at the end of the day, if we finish going through our 25 and we've done 80%,
okay,
it is up to and 20% are in progress with the evidence that we are going to be communicating
now,
to the people of Ghana by Wednesday.
Now I'm moving
Ghanaians can decide if this is a satisfactory performance, an excellent performance.
I'm moving to my favorite one,
or not.
which has been a bit controversial.
Right.
Comments the distribution, point 12. Comments the distribution. Oh, I thought I had the social contract. I don't know, producers, just check if you can put it on the screen. Comments the distribution of free sanitary pads to female students in primary and secondary schools.
I have so many questions. So many questions.
Tell me, what's your
Number
question?
one, are you going to keep giving? Is it a one-time thing?
It's not a one-time.
Why are your pads so expensive?
It's not a one-time.
So many other questions. You know, when this is a very delicate thing, especially when you're talking about it as a woman. The first thing they'll come and tell you is that you don't understand period poverty. So I will be very measured in the way I go about this. But we really believe that this is the best way the government of Ghana should address this issue.